guys, it's Brian with HappyThumbsGaming, back with some more LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. This is Crait Outpost Free Roam. We're going to unlock a total of 20 Kyber bricks. We're going to get those 3 character tokens, and of course a couple of ship tokens as well, and a nice and easy peasy data card easy. Oh, please don't leave. Please don't leave. Just kidding. Just kidding. Hey, we do have quick links down below in the video description if you're tired of listening to me flap already, or maybe you just want a specific collectible. Now, there is a ton of studs flying up to my meter there. I may or may not have found a stud comet whilst chasing through space, and I went ahead and took that down. And if you've been following along, we just actually finished up Exegol Space, and we're going to take a nice Jollivant across the galaxy over to the Crait Outpost. So, because this is free roam, we have sped this video up ever so slightly, and all travel and non-essential gameplay scenes have been either removed or sped up even more. But here you are, we're actually landing and dropping the old hatch here, and as soon as we get going, we're going to make note of, well, it seems like Mrs. Doubtfire's here. Hello! Did anybody else feel like that was maybe a little homage to Mrs. Doubtfire? I don't know. I don't know the whole Arlu, the sculptuses. I could be a little bit out of the loop on that, but hey, speaking of getting back on track and in the loop, back in the left corner behind us, there is a gold box. You know how I love me some gold. We'll go ahead and melt it down by using your bounty hunter of choice and pick up the first Kyber brick, which is welcome to Crait. Now, I am positive that if you talk to this guy, he unlocks a challenge or puzzle that we have not yet found a rumor for, but I couldn't remember if it was for here or another planet. I did it in my PS4 save, or my scouting run, if you will, and I felt like I needed to talk to him, but he wouldn't speak to me, so I had to just go ahead and keep on with the keeping on. And we're going to go ahead and jump up to our first character task here, which is going to unlock Admiral Ackbar. And this is pretty cool. It's actually called It Was Several Traps. In fact, we have to go rescue 3 different rebels scattered throughout the galaxy, and we're going to get a Kyber brick and Admiral Ackbar for it. So this is one of those missions where the game knows we're actually going way out of our way, and it's going to give us a double whammy. All right, so we are officially off to our first location, Crait Space. Now, as soon as we get up here, we're actually going to look for an exclamation point within a blue sort of comment balloon. I'm looking all over for them. I somehow did not see them. I feel like I'm bad at seeing these, but I also feel like the game is like really good at sneaking them in the off corner where you're not looking. So like, kind of like how your AI shows up, right? Like if you leave your other character behind, and then later all of a sudden you like turn around and he's just right there, or she's just right there, right? I feel like this game loads in the bad guys in space and stuff the same way. Like, you'll be looking, and then it's not there, and then as soon as you give up or look the other way, boom, they're right there. Like, it just loads in funkily. But in this particular case, you got to take out, I think, like 6 or 7 different baddies. Now, all of them, in my case right now, seem to be way out of reach. I'm not sure why that is. When I played my scouting run, it was not this way. In fact, it was bingo, bango, bongo. We just nailed them. It was over like almost instantly. But for my PS5 go, not so lucky. But I find them all. Just look for those red triangles sort of indicating where the baddies are. Go ahead and errati all the baddies, and it should give us a prompt to go ahead and talk to the pilot flying through the air, which, again, you might have to look for the old comment balloon. It should be teal with a blue exclamation mark this time. And he'll give us a nice little speech like, thanks for rescuing me. Oh, it was a trap. Well, duh. Now, again, I don't think the order matters, but the game sort of leads you to Ewok Village next. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the old spaceship. Wait, we were already there. We're going to go ahead and land. Now, this is very reminiscent of the Rebel, what is it? The Rebel Network Challenge. Whew. A little bit of a brain fart there. Brain fart, I guess, for most. All right, as soon as we gain control, we're actually going to follow a waypoint marker, which gets a little confusing. As you can see, it's like, which way do I go? Which way do I go? But we actually follow it all the way down, and then I think we make a nice leap of faith as we're rounding about here, because it's way down below in a lower level. Once we get all the way down here, I will, in fact, show you on the map. But, I mean, it's legit. It's the same thing over again. It's another one of the trapped rebels kind of just hanging out in what seems to be like a, you know, a sprung trap. Here we are on the second from the bottom floor all the way over on the far left or west side of the map, I guess it is. We're going to go ahead and shoot down his little apparatus. He thanks us and reminds us that, oh, wow, it was, in fact, a trap. All right, so we should, after a few seconds here, get the prompt to go ahead and take off back to our ship, which you could trudge your way all the way back up, or you could just pull up your galaxy map and target Crait Outpost. And look at that. We are out of there. This one's going to be pretty simple. We're going to land on the ground and follow a waypoint marker into the desert. And once we get there, there should be a nice trapped rebel waiting for some assistance, and we'll just do that. We'll actually use the Force. Move a couple of boxes around, which will give them access out of what is like a little sand pit. And then they'll thank us, and we will be back on our way to collect not only Admiral Ackbar, but also Kyber brick number 2. Man, I got a squeaky chair. I don't know if you guys could hear that or not, but I moved, and I promise it wasn't what you thought it was. All right, here we are. We're officially on the pit, and there should be a couple of boxes that you could use the Force on. So we're going to switch to a character who can move some stuff around with their minds. It's mind-blowing. Look at that. We'll drop down below. So how you do this is really up to you. I found an easy way is to drop one from up top and then pick the second one up and sort of lay it across, almost like a T, right? Like TT games, perhaps? All right, we could go ahead and speak to her. She's just going to say, basically, I need some help getting out of here. But because we've made a nice little makeshift staircase here, we can go ahead and hip it to the hoppa all the way to the toppa. And I'm going to toggle over to my other character so I don't have to follow suit. And as soon as she shakes it off, she's like, oh, thank you so much. And guess what? It prompts us and says, would you like to go back to? And we're going to go ahead and say, well, yes, we would. It's so much faster to do it that way, I promise you. A little bit of a load time still, but a little different. All right, so Ackbar's all proud of us and stuff. Whee! All right, feeling good about that. We're going to move on into the next room here. And inside this kind of command center room, we've got another character quest. In fact, as soon as we get rid of the Ackbar on screen there, we're going to drop down, and it looks like we've got ourselves an option here for a Praetorian guard. The first guard, it's character number 2. Sort of makes me feel like I should have taken this quest first because, you know, he is the first guard. Boo. All right, I'll just boo myself. All right, this one's pretty simple. It actually requires us to go back into Crait space. Once we get up there, we've basically just got another mission where we got to take out a bunch of baddies. Now, it should be noted that if you get up here and you're not able to lock on to the bad guys, it's likely because your character flying in your ship is probably of the same side. So, you know, sometimes we find ourselves up in space fighting good guys. Sometimes we find ourselves fighting bad guys. And really, it's just going to be relevant of who's in the cockpit that will allow you to lock on or not. So if you do not have the ability to lock on to any of these TIE fighters, you're going to want to toggle over to another character. And all you got to do is simply press left or right on your directional pad, and it should go ahead and toggle over through the characters you have on your predetermined list, which for us, so far, it's basically been one of every type. Right, we've got like a bounty hunter, we've got you know, a good and a bad, we got a Jedi, and you know, all that stuff. So just note that you might have to toggle over to get through that section. But once you get all 15 done, it's going to return you back to the old astromech here. I didn't actually catch his name, and of course, it'll also reward us with the Praetorian guard, first guard. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. I feel like I've got a good shot at it, but you know, every time I think I got something right, it's wrong. Right, next up, we got the generator games. This is actually pretty simple. There is a back hatch where you could toss or yeet a half of a protocol droid up and sneak him through the back there. In fact, you probably have to do both sides to get up here and open the door. But luckily for us, we've got a nice little cheese, and it just requires us pulling down a lever, which will open up a door. We slide a box into place with our other character, and then sneak both characters in because that box is blocking the door from closing. Woo to the who! We got generator games done did, and hopefully you do too. All right, moving right along. We got another character quest. Now, I wanted to take this one on early because the character actually hollers out a bunch of sounds And like I already mentioned, it sort of reminds me of Mrs. Doubtfire. It's like, hello, is what she says, which reminds me of Mrs. Doubtfire's hello. See what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm kind of talking over it, but this is a quite important mission, as it does unlock some other stuff, like access to a ship token later. And a secret little handheld that we don't have access to currently. So once we gain control after speaking to her, we're going to go down the left tunnel here. And at the end of the hallway, we're going to find our first character with a nice little tip. It says, if you're looking for the Vulptex, keep your eye on the ground. Well, apparently there's some hoof prints or something around here, but I was not catching on to them. So I go up and around the corner to the next tip giver, and he says, I heard some whimpering back there. You might want to check that out. So we go all the way to the back corner, and Buddy says, I don't know where they went. Maybe I should put on a Vulptex costume and run around like a... No, we don't want that either. What you want to do is run over to this door just short on the left of where that last tip was, and there should be a speak or a talk. Once you talk, it should actually cue old Commander Daisy, or Mrs. Doubtfire, over here and get a little closer to us, which then will allow us to mind control the Vulptex. Now, it should be noted that if you don't talk to the corner of the door there and have old Mrs. Doubtfire show up to speak to her, it won't let you mind control these guys for more than about 2 seconds. I really struggled with it. In fact, I started a playthrough over because I thought the game was glitched, and it turned out it was the user error. I needed to advance this mission by actually speaking to the door and sort of acknowledging that the Vulptexes were stuck in here. Then you just got to grab the Vulptex and actually pull a couple of those boxes around to get up to the top ledge and make your way all the way up and out. Notice that box slams down. There's actually some bouncing bricks on the ground left behind, and we'll get to that in a second. But most importantly, we're actually going to get rewarded the character token for Commander Daisy. But it's also going to queue one of these Vulptexes on a hide-and-go-seek mission, or I guess follow me now, see. We'll go ahead and do that now. So there you go. We got Daisy in the bag. And there's the Vulptex just chilling. I'm going to show you where he runs off to just in case you got scattered off, or maybe you did the mission and didn't know this was a thing. And basically now we just got to play Vulpte-see, Vulpte-do. We got to follow him all the way to the end. Now he's got some serious hops, or she, I guess I shouldn't judge. That being said, we're going to go ahead and follow along, up, around. And again, there's a couple of really big jumps. Like this next one is crazy. You don't need to use the zip line. You basically just need to drop down to that lower level. Once we get down there, the thing takes off again. And this time it sort of makes a double back up jump to the far right side. And I do believe I missed my jump here. Sorry about that. But one of those things I probably could have edited out. But I know that some of you guys appreciate me and my mistakes. Oh, look at me. I'm not using the handhelds. Those are foothelds. All right. Next up, we've got a couple of handhelds on the wall here that have some debris on top of them. Now, it should be known that with a character with double jump, you can actually bypass those ones that have rocks over them and make it over here successfully. But I just find it easier to go ahead and knock those blocks off. A couple of twirly poles to get across the gap here, and up a ladder we go. I promise we are almost to the final destination. And all the way around the corner, he goes up on this far left side, and he actually destroys some debris that I'm not sure we could do on our own. Notice it was inside the protocol droid hatch there. So he goes ahead and removes that. Now, this has all been part of the Great Crait Chase. Now, we've gone ahead and freed the doorway here, and now we've got... We need to get inside there with the protocol droid. I guess you could probably use BB-8 to slide in there too, but we'll go in here. Just the pants. Pants. All right, now next up we'll go ahead and reunited, and it feels so good. Yes, and we still are on that stud grind. As you probably noticed, we are not to 384 million yet. All right, got a couple of bricks over on the right, lower right side. I guess is the southeast, or maybe just the east side, depending on how you're looking at it. This was a funny angle, too, you guys. This happened on my PS4 save, and I also made a mistake, and I uncovered a porg, literally on the last mission, and I recorded the whole level over it. So this is honestly, I did my PS4 go, and then I got really deep with a PS5 attempt, and then I failed, and then I had to start over again because of that Vulptex mission where I didn't talk to the wall. Listen, I got really good at this area. I know this area like the back of my hand. And so well that we're actually going to send a protocol droid through the hatch and collect Skylight, Kyber, but we're going to need our pants. We need the bottom end to go ahead and reattach. Now we're going to switch over to a bounty hunter and get our glide on across this area. Now, if you fall or if you've already gone back through or whatever the case may be, you can simply use the ladder and the twirly poles to get back up. But we're going to go ahead and glide over to the side and then start this nice little wall cheese here. We've got a bunch of little platforms. We're going to use them all to get all the way up top. In fact, there's a nice little walkway up here once we get all the way up top. And over on the back side corner here, we've got a bunch of crystals, and inside the far one is going to be that climbing for Kyber brick. Woo to the who! Man, it feels like we've done a lot, but we just really got a couple of the character quests out of the way, and we're only on the 7th Kyber brick. We're not even halfway through these guys yet. All right, we're going to drop down to a lower level. The Great Crait is the name of this one. And this one's sort of down below us and almost behind us. So I'm going to use my glide and then, of course, grapple up to this ledge over here. And this one is kind of tricky, I got to be honest. I thought for sure there was a hatch at the bottom of where the entry point is. Turns out there's not, so my bad on that. It took me a long time to figure this one out. And really, it's a little bit of a funny angle scenario here. You're going to need both of these boxes. So you don't necessarily have to get up on this ledge to get them, but I found it easier to do so. Then we're going to go ahead and manipulate these boxes or stack them up in a way that we can actually get up this nice little tube here. There is a ladder on the back left side there of this tube, and you can see it says someone's bound to reach that shiny thing up there sometime, and I, of course, spam the circle button to get out of there, and it's also the same button to lift, so I reactivated that. Whoopsie. All right, now this is a bit of a task trying to get the... you know, you got to get up in there, but you also have to, well, get up in there. So I finally find a sweet spot, and then I fall off. And then I get back up in there. And about this point, I'm like, gosh, should I just restack these or not? Really, if you get up in there and double jump, you should be able to grab the ladder, get all the way up top, swoop that Great Crait brick, and we are out of there. Well, sort of. In fact, there is actually a doorway. There's a nice glowing entrance point over here. We're going to take a peek and see if there's a brick in there. And by golly, there sure is. So this one's called Team Targets. And there's a couple of these that are tricky. In fact, one of them doesn't appear until you complete a mission that's in here. So there's you have to like do something and then leave and then come back. And in fact, I messed that up, and I think I buy the rumor at the end because I couldn't figure out where the last one or two is. Now, this particular one, it requires us to take out 4 targets. However, these targets need a little assistance. A couple of them are like tucked away behind some sort of a device. And the device needs some switchery, that's right, in order to open the door. So there is a box on top of the left side target. We're going to grab that using the force and slap it on the platform just to the left of that, which should reveal a couple of targets. Now, we're going to use our other character to go ahead and stand on a switch in the middle. And you don't have to come up here, but I do recommend getting up on this upper ledge here because you do have a nice view of all 4 targets. We're going to go ahead and lock them in, and look at that. I still had about 9.5 seconds left, so lots of time to get it done. Don't feel the pressure. Just make sure you've got a person on the switch down below and a box on the switch up top on that upper level there right in front of me right now. All right, take all 4 targets out, swoop that brick, and get on out. Next up, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? It's, guess what? It's another Kyber brick. This one's called Drop Time. Now, this one, I do believe, is the one that's super confusing in how it leads you. So, you know, the old brick detectors in old games, we would recommend people not using them just because sometimes it would lead you on a wild goose chase. I do believe this is the one. There is for sure one on this particular level. No, this is not it. My bad. This is not it. Hey, quick tip for you guys. I highly recommend not using a Jedi or Sith character for the drop time one. What you got to do is simply just drop down from the top and step on all 4 of the switches within a really short amount of time. Now, I found by using the Bounty Hunter, he's got a little easier jump. And by easier, I mean he doesn't do backflips or side flips or any of that nonsense, which the Jedis and Siths will do. So I think any character with a double jump will do just good. But I think if you're using a Sith or a Jedi, I feel like you're going to find yourself doing flips. And they're a little harder to control. So, you know, be on the lookout for that, and I recommend using a bounty hunter. All right, next up, we've got another doorway. This one was actually, we were right here when we were looking for the hidden Vulptexes earlier. This one's kind of fun, too. It's basically the same thing we just did, but there's more switches and more boxes. And then in the end, once you step on them all, it just opens it up. So there's no need to use the targets. Now, okay, let me just explain. I already made a mistake in this particular puzzle because it wanted you to use that box right there on the switch up top. And I did the old switcheroo. Look, I pulled one from the right side, put it on the left, and put the left one on the right. And eventually, I think that there's one of them that, for whatever reason, exceeds its distance allowance. I know that sounds weird. Like, no, it's not like doing chores and getting an allowance. I just think it can only be so far away from where it spawns, and then it resets. So, like, look, I've got them all in place, right? But I don't. Look at the one straight ahead of me. It's not active anymore. I just did that one, didn't I? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I've totally messed this up. But I feel like I put one up here because I put the left on the right and the right on the left, right? And then I look over and look, the box that was on the left is now back there. And I go and I try to place it up top, and all of a sudden I can't put it. Wait, I can. Okay, so I get it there. Now I'll step on him again. And booyakashow. Nope, it's gone again. Notice that? So I do figure out that, wait a minute, I'm going to go ahead and pull the old switcheroo here. And I'm going to put this guy up top, well, in a minute here. So yeah, there is definitely some mistakery that could happen here. So basically, put the box that's closest to the button on that button, right? Instead of switching them around like I did. Because who knows, maybe this is just a fluke. Maybe this would never happen to anybody else ever again. Maybe it's just a Brian issue. But regardless, if you're having troubles and you're like, man, I swear I put that on there and it's gone, make sure that you're putting the box that's closest to the switch on that switch. Otherwise, you might end up with some issues. All right, 10 hours later. We're finally done with that one, and we are out of there. Next up, we've got ourselves a ship token. Now, it should be noted that this token cannot be found until you have done the Vulptex, the one that earlier with, Commander Dicey, good old Mrs. Doubtfire. Once you have saved those Vulptexes, though, the box will get dropped, and it'll leave some bricks behind, and you can actually build up this handhill, which allows you to get all the way to the top and then sneak on inside this room. We've been in here before, but we were actually controlling a Vulptex with mind control. So we're going to go ahead and drop back in here, and you probably remember there's a hero terminal in here. This hero terminal has a double purpose. It actually opens up the cage below us where the ship token is, but it also opens up the door behind us, which was sort of blocking the Vulptexes in earlier where we used the mind control through. So after this, we can actually come and go from this room as we please. Now, I do believe it's right after this particular collection that we run into that detector taking us in the wrong direction. The detector in the wrong director? Boo. All right, that's twice I've had to boo myself. I'll be better, I promise. I promise. We got that U55 Orbital lift loader, thanks to solving a quick puzzle. Now, here we go. This is the one, Glittering in the Dark. Now, I'm going to turn around and take a quick peek into that room, and then you might notice a little bit of an edit here. Maybe not. Yep, I was pretty good. I was pretty clean with it, but there was a little jitter there. What we're going to do is run around and not go into the room where it's trying to guide us and go up this ladder here. And then we're going to want to drop right down on this ledge. So it's one of those like things where it's trying to take you on the most efficient route, but it never really gets there because it gets within 6 or 7 meters, but there's a wall blocking you to grab it. So hopefully our little fix there will get you all fixed up. All right, so once we grab that Glittering in the Dark brick, behind us there's sort of a makeshift platform. We're going to glide across with our bounty hunter, and we're going to jump into one of the worst challenges on this planet. I hated this one so much. To be honest with you, in my scouting run, I botched it like 12 times. And then I figured out the perfect route, and when I said I got all the way to like the last collection on this, and I ended up making a mistake. I found a porg and had to restart. On that go, I did it on my first try. not so lucky on this one. So I'm going to recommend that you slide through. Get familiar with where these mines are because they are going to be problematic for you. There are a few hurdles in your pathway, which is what I just did. I cleared out about half the pathway by destroying some of the, crystals and stuff that are in here. But it's basically just like a speed run. You got to make it all the way around, and I'm going to recommend you hug the left wall as best as possible till you get to the ladder. Because there are a couple of those mines sort of tucked in and in the dark or in the shadowy areas, and they're not easy to see. And I blew myself up way too many times. I don't even want to talk about it. Basically, though, all you got to do is get up the ladder. Once you get up the ladder, it's all about patience. There is some timing issues that can be a problem depending on when you die and flip the switch and start the timer over. It could have an effect on where these floating platforms are. I think that no matter what, though, as long as you make it without blowing up, and you don't miss one of the opportunities to get on the platforms that are floating, you should have plenty of time. Now, don't get anxious and try to make that jump to that floating platform at the end until you're on your way back. Right now is the time to go. Do not jump on the right side. It's really easy to miss, and I almost fumbled that jump to the left, too. So, but you should be able to get in there, grab that token, and guess what? The Xi class light shuttle? XI? Xi? I don't know if I'm saying that right. We've got it, though. It's officially ours. And 3PO's, you see him? I don't know if he's doing some popping and locking there or what was going on. Maybe just a broken wave. All right, next up, we're going to target Kyber brick number 12. This one's Tobber's Treasure. This one's super simple. All you got to do is smash a block on the wall, which is going to reveal a grapple point. And then you got to use your favorite grappler to get up there and do it. Now, I get a little confused here. I see the brick right in front of me, and I'm like, wait a minute. At first, I thought that's where I was going. But then I realized, no, it's actually right behind and below it. So there's Tobber standing there. We're literally not even going to speak to him. We're not on speaking terms right now. We're just going to pull out a grappler, blast off the cobweb, I guess it was. I thought it was a brick, but it's a cobweb. And we're just going to go ahead and glide out there and swoop it up. Tobber's Treasure, officially ours. All right, remember that brick I was just... eyeing a second ago? Let's go ahead and swoop that up. We're going to need our favorite scavenger. And then, of course, we're going to need to pull out our net launcher and drop a couple of nets on the wall here. Once we get up there, we should be able to jump up and get over there. Now, this one, I may make it harder than it is. I find it's easy, though, to get up top with a bounty hunter. And if you make the jump just right, there is a little pipe you can walk on the right side. And then, of course, you can jump off or drop off and float over to the end. It's pretty tricky, and I got to be honest. In my scouting run, it took me 3 or 4 attempts to get. I got really lucky and nailed it. First try there. All right, we got another indoor brick, so we're going to go ahead and target that now. This is the High Current Cave. In fact, we're going to double back and make our way into this room. We've walked by a handful of times. And look at it. It looks exactly the same as the last few indoor ones here. We're going to switch on over to a character with the Force because we've got some boxes to move around. That's right. How are you going to get fired on your day off? got caught stealing boxes? All right, up top here, we actually have an astromech panel. So I got a little ahead of myself thinking we needed a switch to be pressed down with a box, but it turns out we got to unlock. That's right. So switch to your favorite astromech. We certainly love ourselves the Roundhound BB-8. So we'll go ahead and solve this from the inside out. Hey, Brian, I said from the inside out. I guess I was sort of still following the right methodology there, but probably not as good as I could. Look at that. So it actually releases one of the fuses. Turns out there are 3 fuses that we need to place into a socket down below. Once all 3 are successfully placed there, it should unlock that Kyber brick cage and give us what we're after. Sorry. Now, we're going to use the old Force cheese here. I didn't mean to knock her off the block, but as it turns out, we're just going to go ahead and put one character on this box, use the character with the Force to lift both the character and the box up top, and then we'll toggle real quickly to our other characters so we can grab that fuse and place it into place. And basically, we're going to repeat the same thing here. We're going to go ahead and stand up. I did feel like I needed to take some stuff out first. I don't think that was necessary. We're going to move the box out right in front where it's easy to get to, slap our character on it, and I don't know, there seems to be a weight issue on this one. It might have just been a funny angle because I was standing off to the side. But eventually we get up top there, grab that fuse, and place it into place. And it should go ahead and open the door. It does. Woo to the who. All right, high current cave. Dun. All right, there was an astromech there, and I think he just gives us the info for the puzzle we just solved. But I could be wrong. He may. There's one of these areas actually unlocks and gives us a bunch of those super collectors. You know, those like we've seen them before, like sandcastles and icicles. And this time it's red crystals, or I guess they're sort of blue crystals. We'll get there. All right, this is a fun trip. We're actually going to go swoop up the data card. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can swoop this thing, but we're going to show you the easiest way. There's a bunch of floating platforms you can make your way all the way across and maybe plummet to your doom a few times. Or you can come right to this ledge on the left side of the area and just jump and grapple with your favorite bounty hunter. Now, to get a brick up top here, there's one called Movin On Up that's right up above us right now. We actually, I do believe, need to use the platforms. Now, maybe there's a cheese that I'm missing that was just like the one we got for the data card, but in this case, we're just going to show you how this is done the easy way, or I guess maybe the only way. But we're going to use the ladder and the rock climbing on the right side, and then we're going to make our way to a platform that's sort of just hanging out here. Wait for the one that's moving back and forth, and basically we're just going to repeat that process until we get all the way over to where we need to be. And patience is key here, and I do recommend a bounty hunter because that jetpack certainly comes in handy making your way across larger gaps. I almost overshot that platform there. Of course, there is a purple stud up top here, and we got to get them all, I'm going to make a leap of faith here and all the way over, and I almost botched the landing, but guess what? Nailed it! Moving on up to the Kyber brick. All right, so we are officially done up in this high zone here. So we're going to target a brick on the left side. We've done most of the middle and right side collecting. We just got to get all that stuff in that far left corner. Now, again, I mentioned this earlier. I had to replay this level a couple of times for various reasons. Each time collecting studs like nobody's biz. In fact, I actually was collecting studs at the end and messed up, and that's why I revealed a porg. In fact, I think... Oh, no, we're not close enough. But there's a porg hiding under a stairwell, and I just blasted a red crystal, and it actually revealed him and counted. And I did not want that. We want to save that for a later video. But all right, go to drop 2. This one is pretty simple. You're going to need a character with the Force. Simply press the button and don't do anything. Just let the marble fall down, and it should bounce into the left box. Now we need to just be patient and wait for that marble to reset and drop down again. But we're going to use the Force and lift up until it goes through the middle. Did you see how I did that? You're going to drop it down and allow it to hit that middle, but you got to move the whole Force item down so it bounces off that right side and falls into place. It may take you a couple of times, but it should be pretty easy. Don't move it at all for the first one. Move it halfway up for the second one, but for the first part of the second one, and then drop it down for the second part of the second one. I know that's confusing. Hopefully I didn't just chase you away. But hey, we got ourselves a password location for a future free roam video. That's right. It's for CATONICA. Am I saying that? Hopefully I probably got it all wrong, but there is a location we'll be needing that for at a later date. So basically in the future, we won't have to come back here to find that password because we already got it. All right, next up is Rockway Reward. All you got to do is use the Force to pull a couple of these boxes out of the way. You might not need to move all 3. We did just for, easy purposes. And there it is. We'll go ahead and swoop it up. Number 17, done did. All right, we're getting pretty close. We got both ships. We got all 3 of the character tokens. And, of course, now we just got a last couple of Kyber bricks. Rise to the roof. This one is interesting. In fact, this is the one where I messed up and grabbed the porg on. So if you're looking for a porg, he's actually over on the right side of the room, down low under the stairwell. If you listen carefully, you can hear him make his little or whatever sound they make. But this one, we're just going to show you a wall cheese here. It's a little bit of precision, and it's going to require a jetpack. So Bounty Hunter will probably be good here. Right under the ramp I'm on right now is actually where that porg I found was, and I used the Force just sort of looking to destroy something, to find some bricks to build, to get up top there, because I thought I needed like some sort of device or a bouncer, a baboinger or something, but did not work out. In fact, I recovered that porg, counted, and rather than use that footage later and try to slide it in, I just figured I'd start it over. So I literally had, I was right where I'm at now. I had 1 or 2 Kyber bricks left, and I literally messed it up by finding that porg. Had to start it all over. Poor porg. All right, this one's simple. You're going to start with the front right, go to the front left, and then go to the back one. I found that out the hard way. I thought I needed protocol droids to stand on all of them, and I kept splitting them up and standing on different, and it kept telling me, and then finally I discovered if you stand on the right one in the right order, that's all you need to do. So front right, front left, back. Boom. Got it done, did. Next up, last but not least, the Crystal Crasher. Now, you remember I mentioned that there was a task that actually spawned after you completed some other stuff in one of those indoor areas? Well, that's where we're at right now. I'm pretty certain that we're going to return to an area we've already solved the puzzle in. And this time, though, there are a bunch of crystals shining on the ceiling, and we're going to take out all 12 of them. In fact, it's super simple. Like, normally I would put, like, quick links or whatever, but all 12 are in the same room. We don't even have to go nowhere or do nothing different. They're all right there. So as long as you know where to go for the mission itself, it's really simple to get it complete. And we'll go ahead and make our way all the way over to where the door entrance is. And we'll show you on the map again. Because I know that when you use... I'm trying to show you right now. But if you look, it's telling me there's something in there. But it's not representing it, right? It's not showing. So, but we know where to go. So we're making our way up and over to this indoor area. Which, again, we've been here before. See, look, it is. It's the one... The porg was right under there. So... Definitely been in here before, and I promise you, these were not glowing and all shiny once we were in here before, but we got blue crystals galore. We need 12 of them. They're all over the place. They're on the roof. They're on the floor. In fact, there's one right up above me right now. It ends up being the last one because it's a little bit of a funny angle. I couldn't quite see it, but just basically blast them all. Got to get them all. Got to get them all. And I promise you, all 12 are in here. Like I said, you don't have to go trudging around and finding nothing. They're all in here. Just look around. If you don't see all of them, just look around behind you where you're not looking, and I guarantee you'll find them. And there you go, 11. And the last one, like I said, is up on the roof behind me. Where it at? Where it at? Where it at? I'm trying to get all those studs, too. But again, I'm in the same place looking up. It's a funny angle. And booyakashow! There it is. All right, all right, all right. Crystal Crasher done did. And the reason why it wasn't allowing me to tag a Kyber brick is because if you notice, I actually never had to grab one, never even saw one. It just gave me a reward for one. All right, guys, that is officially it for Crait Outpost. We got all 20. We got that data card, of course, both ships, and all 3 of those character tokens, including, that's right, Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello! I'm so glad that's over, especially since I had to do this 3 times. Hey, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for me. Thanks for watching. As always, until next time...